We've also added a new feature in rendering for 2017, and it's for the depth channel to be used in Photoshop or other post-processing image tools. So what you want to do if you want to create a sense of depth of field, we've automatically added this into the rendering. So anytime you do a rendering and save it, you will now have an option if you open up the image browser, and I've got this image that I just created rendered out. And when you go to save this image, there's another option that you have as the type of image that you want to save, and it's the last one down here called depth channel. And this will allow you in Photoshop to create that depth of field sense on your images. So what you want to do is save one with as a depth of field as a TIFF, and then you'll save another version of it as a JPEG, or it can be a TIFF or a PNG, whatever you want it to be. I save mine as a JPEG, and then you just open those up in Photoshop. So I've got this image in Photoshop, and then I also have the depth channel, and this is what it looks like. And so what this really does is it marks how far away from the camera the objects are, and it does this by shading. So you can see the back wall is the furthest away, so it's the darkest, and it even gets further away back in this corner. So to post process this in Photoshop, we'll just kind of go through the scenario here. So I just do Command or Control A. I'm on a Mac, so it's Command A for selecting everything, and then just do a copy. So that copies it into my memory. And then I go back to the original image here, and I'm going to go ahead and double click on this just to make it a new layer that's not locked. And then under the layer options, if you go to layer mask, just choose reveal all. And you can see this will give you a masking layer on that, or a layer mask, I should say. And then all you want to do is just you just paste. I'm just going to paste that in. Oop, go back. Make sure you go to channels, and you want to turn on that layer mask. So turn that on, and you can go back to your layers, and then go ahead and just paste it. Okay, so now I have this layer mask, and then you can just go ahead and you can turn on the visibility for this entire layer. And then I'm going to hit Command D just to get rid of all the selection that was there. All right, so now you got your image with a mask. You also want to have an image so you can kind of see the two as comparable. So I just drag this whole layer down to add new layer. It's going to make a new one. But on this one, I don't want the layer mask. So I'm just going to right click on this and say delete layer mask. Okay, so I just have the image without it. All right, so now I'll go back to here, and I'm going to go up to filter, and under blur, I'm going to choose the lens blur. Okay, so now it's using that layer mask to define where the focal point is. And for the focal point, you just use this blur focal distance. So on this particular one, since the whites are closest to us, if I do this, anything that's really close to me will be in total focus. If I go all the way to the other end, the back side, the back wall is now in focus. As you can see now, this is in focus back here, and this is very blurry. So you can set kind of the distance of wherever you want that to happen. If you want it kind of right in the middle, you can set it in the middle. So now, this one becomes a little more focused, and just kind of play with it like that. So we'll just set it up this way. And just a couple of quick things in here. So under the iris, the radius value, that's basically just the amount of blur that you want. So we'll just jack this way up to something really crazy blurry, and it'll go through, and you'll see that this becomes really blurry in the background. Okay, so that's just how you set the level of blur that you want. So in this case, we just want just a little bit, so something like this. So that's a new feature. It's in there, super useful. So you just pop it into Photoshop, just go through these steps, and you can set depth of field interactively on your own, and make all those decisions in Photoshop. So hope that helps. Thanks.